Hi, hello there. Welcome back to another incredibly chaotic video of mine because we can't make a video without 19 million things going wrong. So I was in Kicking Geese's stream and was reminded that I owe you guys a rune reading, and hopefully I can get this done before my partner comes home because nothing's more embarrassing than talking to a camera with another person in the room. All right. So this is a new set of mine that I made, I don't know, a few years ago now. They're made out of shell beads and then gold puff paint, and then I went over it with metallic green paint. And you can argue with me all day long if you want about, you know, the materials that a set of runes should be made out of, but these are mine and I made them. So we're going to go with this. So a lot's happened, but hasn't happened in the Amberverse. I don't know exactly what I want to ask as much as I just kind of want to know. I want to know about the move. And let's see, what else is really major going on in her life right now? I mean, I personally don't really care about the breakup so much anymore because, like, it's just an excuse for her at this point. But I am interested in the moving thing and just in general, all of the fun stuff that goes along with that. But I am also curious about her health. So let's see what the status is on those two things. So let's go with health. Let's go with moving and health as our question. All right. I'm just spreading some things out here so they can all be seen. You're covered, straight covered. Not really. I'm gonna leave that slightly covered like that. Sometimes being covered means something, sometimes it doesn't. I just kind of have to go with the feel of it. So, she gets Zawalo a lot. I just want to point that out. And I think that means that, like, she thinks she's winning. That's just my... She thinks she's on the right course. Is how I translate that, I'm gonna guess. Alright, so what are we looking at here? Let's start off with the move. Can I darken this up for you guys a little bit? Maybe if I can... That helped. Would you stop? Alright, anyway. Look at all the freckles on my hand. Anyway, so... my camera's gonna do this thing where it's just gonna waffle back and forth from focus or not. So, let's do this. We've got... Right here in the center, we've got Fio, which can mean possessions, and I think in this point, I think it does mean possessions, just going off of what we've seen. We've got Wunjo over here, and we've got Jira, which Wunjo is joy. It's the expression of joy. And so that's all it is. It's just a happy rune. But it's all the way over here. It's also with Jira, which usually means you reap what you sow. But Jira is typically a positive rune, so seeing the two of those together actually gives me a more happy interpretation of it. And since we have radio here pointing towards the center, I'm guessing that there's something... I'm guessing this journey, because that's what this is. This represents the journey itself. So I'm guessing the journey is gonna go well. She's extremely happy about this move. So she's actually maybe looking forward to it. She's pretty happy about it. Over here, though, we've got a nice little cluster. Uruz always means health in my mind, but it can also mean strength and determination. It's surrounded by Nathus, and it's also surrounded by Algas, which are not great runes to have. Both of them, Nathus is the rune of need, literally means need, and Algas is reminding us that if you grab hold of sharp, pointing things, they sting. Much like Thurazaz, but... And then also it's got Hegelez around it. So this is not a happy cluster. And since this is the one where I'm seeing Uruz here, I'm seeing I'm seeing something, I don't want to say catastrophic, because that's always a bit loaded, but it is definitely not good, and it's definitely going to be connected with her health in some way. And it's also something that she's aware of that she's been ignoring, which with Amber, there's a myriad of things it could be. I'm trying to get the camera to focus and stay focused. Well, it's like, fuck you. Screw you. There will be no focus in this rune reading. I don't know what to do about it. I'll play around with things better. I thought this would be a good setup. Anyway, over here we've got Ingaz, we've got Gibbo, we've got Zawal, or Zuelo, we've got Kinaz, we've got Thuraz, and we've got, yes, Proth. But we also got Manaz over here, pointing towards all of this. So this is our focal rune here, I think, that's pointing towards all of this chaos going on over here. It's not really chaos, it's just a whole lot of stuff. Zwallow is a guidance rune, and the sun is always a happy sign for people who are basic. The sun's a great way to know that you're not lost. You know, a sunny day is always better, especially on the open seas, you know. Ingaz, or Ing is the god Ing, which is usually translated as being Fro Ing, the god Frey. So it's associated with a god of prosperity and a whole other bunch of things. But a lot of people like to immediately tie it to prosperity and fertility and all that kind of stuff. I usually take it as like being a trailblazer. You know, you're going ahead of all of, you're heroically going in advance of everything and everyone else, and you're just trusting that it's all going to follow after you, because why wouldn't it? That's kind of how I translate that one. Gibbo is a rune of give and take, and we've got Swallow on one side, we've got Thiraz on the other, we've got Ingus on one side, and then we've got Proth on the other, and they're very tightly touching and very tightly collected around this. So I think what we're seeing is not quite like a yin-yang thing, but very much a cause and effect kind of a thing. Okay, so we've got Thiraz here, which some people translate it to mean giants, some people translate it to mean thorn. Oh, my sugars are already coming off. Boo. And so it's a painful experience that's coming up. It's painful to everyone who grasps it. Whereas we have Zwalu, which is, you know, happiness from not being lost anymore. And then we've got Ingus, which is like a trailblazing kind of person, or somebody who is maybe like the Fool. Maybe to associate it with tarot, it might be more like the Fool card, where like you're stepping off into the great unknown and just expecting to be caught, expecting for things to just kind of reach out and catch you, and you won't fall flat on your face. Which translates more into like gaming, and gaming as in like fun time gaming, not like gambling gaming, but it could also mean gambling. One of the translations for the word is lot box, which could mean you were drawing lots, which means you're relying on luck. So it could be a rune of luck, but I also kind of see it as a rune of peerage and of drawing people with wisdom and experience to you. So I think on the one hand, we've got her wanting to go her own way, but on the other hand, she's hoping for some form of guidance, some form of help, in the form of like knowledge and experience, not necessarily someone's going to come help her move the actual furniture. But we've also got a painful experience, one that is noticeable, and we've also got clear sailing, smooth sailing, you know, clear skies, smooth sailing. So to me, it's kind of like a give and a take. Like, on the one hand, she wants to go off and be super independent and do her own thing. But on the other hand, she's still reliant on people for things that she's incapable of doing herself. It doesn't necessarily mean a physical incapability. It could mean just like a lack of knowledge. Like she was talking about her tax guy the other day. It could be something like that. And at the same time that there's like something very painful that's going to happen, there's also something very positive that's going to happen. Like, it seems like this painful experience is actually going to come out roses for her, which in all honesty, it kind of always does for her, doesn't it though? She really does have quite a bit of luck. I feel like it's running out, but that could just be me being cynical, because I haven't seen it happen yet. And so we've got Kinaz over here, which again is a rune of knowledge and enlightenment, divine, not quite divine, but this is more like, it's not divine, it's more like mortal information. Like the torches burn in the hall where the folk gather. It's the folk themselves who are there trading knowledge back and forth with each other. And that's even further backed up by the man as Rune, which literally translate to men or man, humanity. So we've got this pointing towards this group here. And it is immediately attached to both of these, but it's touching this one, but it's immediately attached to both of these runes. And I think what's happening here, personally, I think she's hoping to rely on the knowledge base from an individual, from a certain person, from someone who's leaving their life, but is still here. Could be Jade, could be someone else, could be that imaginary male friend of hers. And she's relying on that information here. And it's not going to come out. It's going to end very painfully for her. It's not going to turn out the way she wants it to turn out. And then, yeah, and then that's the give and take. She's going to get this negative experience, but it looks like it's going to work out. My finger out of the way. It looks like it's going to work out, but we'll see. We will see. Because just because she's being a trailblazer and trusting, it's not even that. It's, even though she's just like stepping out into the great wild world and expecting it to support her, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to happen here. Because if you follow the trail line, this is the immediate trail line. Again, all of this is centered around possessions. We could say possessions and money with few. I'm trying to tilt it so you can actually see it, but I'm going to have to make a set of runes that are just specifically for doing readings on camera. That's what I'm going to have to do. Going to have to make a set that shows up on camera perfectly. So we'll be playing around with some of the sets I have. Anyway, this, like I said, this is possessions, this is money, but it's also a rune of charity, and it could also mean giving away. And it has a kind of a double meaning when you say giving away and charity, because there's two reasons why you would give things away with few. One of the reasons is your altruism. You are giving it away because you are a good person, and that is what a good person does. A good person gives to charity, gives things to people when they are in need of those things. The other reason you would give things away with the few rune is because you are performing that you are a good person. Because you want to look honorable in the eyes of the gods. So you could be doing it on the one hand because you are actually an altruistic, good-hearted person and you're doing it for the right reasons. The other reason is because you want everyone to look at you and go, oh, what a good person. And my cynicism with Amber is that it's the second, not the first. And it's also pointing towards this cluster F. This is a cluster F, let's be honest. There's a need that's going to pop up that's going to be aware of. We've got stinging grass. We've got hailstorms. I mean, like I've mentioned before, this one's kind of like the tower. The only difference is this one has like a happy ending at the end. But it's collected with all of these things. We've got Urus upside down. I don't usually read reverse runes, but in context, it's fine. And it just looks like a sudden health issue is going to pop up, something that she was aware of, but again, has ignored, which again, pick. And it's going to be something that's going to stick around. This is Algiz. I don't know if I can tilt it enough for you to see it. It's the one that looks like a goose foot. So it's something sudden. It's something she should have been expecting, and it's going to linger. It's going to be dangling for a while. And all right, so that's this side. I'm still over here. I'm still letting this one settle because it's so very positive. But it's so close to this. And there's no connectors here for me. I'm done with things falling over now, thank you. I got a new water bottle and I'm still getting used to it. I know that sounds weird, but you know. All right, over here we've got Dagoz and we've got Ansus, and both of those are runes of divine messaging. So in this case, a higher authority is sending messages. One of these is more inspirational in that an aha moment, I guess, is what I'm saying, or more of a creative endeavor. Usually this one circles around like poetry or art or just the spoken word in general. A lot of people will connect this one directly to Odin in his aspect of the god of poets, the god of poetry, which there is actually another god of poetry, but that's like it's a whole thing. We don't have time for that. Anyway, Dagaz is the day. It represents literally the god of the day, and it's at the same time that it is a new beginning, a renewal. It's also the end of the traditional Elder Futhark row, and well, it switches places, but most of us put Dagaz at the end. And Dagaz, as much as it is a new beginning and an enlightened message of a new day, it's also the end of something, usually a cycle. Because like I said, it's the very end of the cycle. Whereas Few is the very beginning of the cycle, and so a lot of people associate Few with being a rune of new beginnings. In this context, I could see it. I could force that in there. I'm not seeing that exactly. So it's really interesting because on this side, we've got a lot of, well, this is definitely negative. This little cluster over here is definitely a negative cluster. And then we've got this over here that's kind of ambiguous-y, but there's definitely some trouble brewing here. And then we've got this. This is relatively, move my hand. These are relatively positive. They're relatively in line with this. But then these are leading in. Remember, we come in and we go out. So we've got this journey. And the journey, just to qualify, the journey doesn't have to be the move. It could be something else entirely. But, give me just a second. It's something that's going to make her happy. And it's something that she's worked for. It's something that she's worked for. And this journey is it's the result of things that have been put into place, and it's going to make her happy. It's a happy ending to a journey, which kind of insinuates that she planned for this, because Jira is a rune of planting and harvesting. You must plant in order to reap. So she's planted something. And the payoff for that is coming up, and it's the payoff she wants. And it has something to do with movement, with a journey movement. And it's heading towards the center, which Few isn't dead center, but it's close enough, I'm going to call it. But it is more kind of leaning this direction, which again, we've got the ending and the beginning of a cycle. It could literally be Amberlynn's cycle. But both of these do have a divine message to them. In any other context, don't hold me to this one, but in any other context, I would say somebody has created like a book. Someone's written a book or some kind of media, especially some kind of written word media. I know there's other things out there. And that it's coming to fruition. Their hard work on that has brought that to fruition. Unless Amber's been writing a book in secret, maybe, I don't know. I highly doubt it, but that in any other context, that's kind of how I would be reading this. But with Ansu's, it's any kind of creativeness, but it's a higher calling. It's not Legos, is what I'm saying. It's something she's been making herself, something she's been crafting herself. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It could be a creative idea or creative process that she's been working on. And it's coming to fruition. And again, it's coming to fruition in kind of a positive manner. So this is definitely talking about her health, her possessions, and I think in this aspect, when we're pointing this way, possessions don't exactly make sense, but money does. So I'm guessing this is going to be something really expensive, or something that's going to, she's going to feel this one in the pocketbook. Is it going to break her? I don't know. Amber makes plenty of money, it seems like, and like I said, she always seems to land on her feet. Because there's very much a land on your feet kind of feel over here, but it's not going to be in the way she wants. So I don't know what that's going to pan out for. I don't know how that's going to look like to her. But there are people who are willing to help and who are trying to help. But it's going to be painful. The help that she's going to receive is going to be painful, and it's not the help she wants. But again, she's just kind of launching herself out there in the hopes that she thinks that she has put enough out there that there are people who are just going to reach out and let her land in their hands. And I don't think there's as many people out there willing to just kind of help as she thinks there are. And she's reliant, or thinks that she can at least rely on some group of knowledgeable individuals who are, or professional individuals, something like that, who may or may not actually be there when she needs them to be, because they're, again, connected here. It's facing away. So this group of people could literally mean she's gambling. Yeah, I mean, she's gambling on support that's not going to be there. But again, we've got Zwallow over here. It's a land on your feet kind of rune in this kind of a context. And it's connected, and like I said, these are all connected to this concept of give and take and receiving. Like she thinks she's put out enough that she should be receiving things in return. I think I've said this in one of the other readings, because I've done 2 now. Amber's giving nature is very toxic, whether she understands that it is or not, whether she sees that her way or not. It's kind of manipulative, and it's kind of toxic. And we know that just watching. If you've watched Amber for any amount of time, you know that. Her concept of gifting is a gift always looks after another gift. Meaning, if I give you something, I expect something in return. Even though I'm giving it to you in a way that makes it seem like I'm just giving you something. I give you this with the expectation that when I need something, whether it's an equivalent exchange or not, I expect you to do the thing for me that I want. So that might be what's going on here. She thinks she's done enough of these favors, given out enough of this charity, that she just inherently should be given all of this back. And she does have some people who are willing to at least help with the know-how, but maybe not necessarily with the physical, actual activity of it. But I think she's blindly expecting that it will happen. She's going to get out of it. And it's not going to be as bad as we think it's going to be. It might not be as good as she wants, though. Because if you read this rune as meaning that the sun is something that you want to see when you're lost, it could also imply that the sun is not there when you are lost. So with this just leaping out into the blind void, maybe that's what it's trying to tell us, is that she's expecting a bright, happy, sunny day once she jumps off the cliff, and there's not a bright, sunny, happy day there for her. Because again, as much as it's pointing towards, it really is kind of pointing away. So the more I really sit and chew on this one, I'm really kind of picking up on, like, she thinks there's going to be a support network there that is maybe not going to be there, at least not in the way she's wanting them or expecting them to be. There is definitely something going on with her health. It is definitely going to be disruptive in some manner. And interestingly enough, the Manaz rune here, which symbolizes people, it doesn't necessarily have to be an individual. It can represent, man in his mirth is precious to his fellow man. But the other end of that is, in his time, basically before the fates take him away. This is not pointing this direction. And none of these are pointing this direction. So this is something she's going to be doing on her own. I think she's really going to be on her own over here. For this, whatever this health journey we should be expecting. How long is it going to take for these kind of things to come to fruition? I don't know. I don't really do well with timescales. So with the runes, it's more kind of like a here and now kind of a thing, a here and now and close, soon to come kind of a deal. It's not. How do you explain it? It's less of a fortune. It's not fortune telling. It's more of an oracle, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, they're not identical to the tarot cards. So if and when people do tarot readings for her, I know more than one person does, they're going to get a different style of reading just because the tool they're using is different. But I am interested to know what this is going to turn out to be. And I am interested to know what this is going to turn out to be. Because this doesn't have to be the move. This could just be something, this could just be life for her. People are trying to help. She's ignoring it. Amber knows best. This could be that. This is definitely a journey or a trip of some variety. There's no arguing with that one. So, but this one also is, if you don't plan well, your journey is going to be miserable. But we've got Wunjo and we've got Jira here, which means, it's a very positive outcome. And it's been planned for. So, yeah, I'm interested. I think this might be the move. And I've seen in the past, because I did one of these and it didn't take. I don't know what happened. The file's gone. But I did do one of these the other day, and it did say that she is definitely moving and the move is going well. So this could just be that reiterating. But this is new. This I'm interested in seeing. Because it's so divine heavy, so outside of her. This is information that comes in, not information that you have that's coming out. It's different than Bracano. And, yeah, I don't know why I look at these. They never mean anything. Not in my readings. So yeah, we got some kind of. I think this is ego. I think we're looking at hubris and ego over here. I think this is arrogance, hubris, and ego. We've got her just expecting the universe to take care of her. And the universe is trying to take care of her, maybe. Or at least the few people she has in her life are trying to take care of her. And they're trying to give her knowledge. And she's rejecting it. Because Amber knows best. And this is so closely connected with this. Compare the gap between Fiu and Haglas and Fiu and Manas, and it's a significant gap. So I'm thinking like the possessions and the finances are definitely going to be on the health end. If I got this in a personal reading, I would be going to the doctor. I'm not that superstitious of a person, but if I got this in a personal reading, I would definitely be like scheduling a general checkup. Just, go get my blood drawn, get a general checkup, that kind of a thing. If I got this and in a personal reading and I knew I was going somewhere, I wouldn't be bothered at all. I'd be like, cool, everything's going according to plan. This is a very creative connection. So something creative is paying out for her, but it is also ending. I suppose it could be her channel, but I just don't see that. Personally, not that I don't see that here. I personally don't see her channel going anywhere anytime soon. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing to watch pan out. This is kind of terrifying. I don't really know if I want to see this. And yeah, this is, I'm curious about this, and I think this isn't the move. This is the second time I've been told she's moving and that and that the move is going well. So as much as we're seeing her throw her junk around, hey, it's lawn maintenance day. As much as we see her throwing her junk around and being completely dismissive and procrastinating, it's happening, and it's happening in the way she's wanting it to happen. So that's that. And I don't see anything stopping it because, again, there's a decent enough gap here. I don't see this not happening. It is interesting that this is all in one cluster. So maybe potentially one of these could set off the other. Like the health issue could be setting off whatever this little kerfluffle. This is a kerfluffle. This is some kind of, something's happening here. Something socially is happening here. So there's some kind of kerfluffle. So it might be this is setting this off. It could be that this is going to then set this off. And this is completely separate from everything. It might be tangentially connected here. Maybe it's saying this moving era is going to be good for her channel. Maybe that's it, you know? Because her channel I would classify it as a creative endeavor. So as creative as y'all can argue with me if you want, but it's a creative endeavor in like the loose definition of the word. So maybe that's what it is that this moving era is going to be really good for her channel. Which, I mean, her views have gone up, so yeah. And anytime she has a health scare, that usually does her channel well. And I don't know what this drama is, but we'll find out. So anyway, I'll probably chew on this more as we go. And again, if you guys would like to discuss translations with me, feel free. We can politely discuss things together down in the comments section. And yeah, if you've gotten this far in the reading, you may as well like and subscribe. I will do more of these going forward. My tentative plan is to do one maybe once every 3 to 4 weeks, give or take, what's happening in the Amberverse. The only reason I've done this one as soon as I have is because I said I would, because I went on a long vacation, basically. Wasn't the best vacation, but you know. If you've made it this far, please like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs down button. The algorithm doesn't care as far as that's concerned. And leave a... just to humor me, leave a book icon emoji in the comment section if you've made it this far. And yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next video.